welcome out to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to ABC East Lanes for today's PJBT tournament, the sixth major of the season here at ABC East Lanes. I'm Dylan Bauer, joined alongside Matt Himmelreich. Today's tournament, a little bit different of a format. How about you run us through the format of today's tournament, Matt?
Sure, Dylan. Thanks for having us once again. Today's format was, we ended up doing a 5-game qualifier. The original format was 6-game for qualifying, but unfortunately the weather played a part in today's last-minute change in the format. We had some bowlers having a tough time getting here to the center with some weather this morning, so we did 5 games qualifying, cut the field to the top 40%, which ended up being 16 bowlers in each division, and we had 3 games of match play, and at this point, after 8 games, the top 7 bowlers are advancing to our finals here. The format for the finals here that you'll see today is we're going to have 2 shootout rounds and 2 stepladder finals. The 2 shootouts, each shootout will consist of 3 bowlers, so the 5, 6, and the 7 seeds will bowl a 1-game match. The winner will advance to a second shootout with seeds 3 and 4. And the winner of the second shootout will advance to the first of 2 stepladder games, a semifinal, single match, head-to-head, and a title match. So it should be very exciting. We got 4 rounds on each side today.
It sounds like it will be both handicap and scratch. Now, Matt, how about you take us through the 7 finalists for each category?
Sure, absolutely. We're going to have our left pair, 3 and 4, will be the scratch division. And for the scratch division, our tournament leader is Paul Bedoin. He finished at plus 132 today. Second place is Dylan Zimmerman. Third place is Ryan Carlisi. Fourth place is Brianna Lyon. Fifth place is Ethan Resch. Sixth place is DJ Brown. And 7th place, final spot to get in, was Brett Zirkle. You'll see those 5th, 6th, and 7th seeds bowling here on 3 and 4 in the first shootout. Again, that was Ethan Resch, DJ Brown, and Brett Zirkle. On the handicap side, pair 5 and 6, we have Chris McCormick is our tournament leader. Interesting enough, he won our tournament last week, so he's going for back-to-back wins today. Nathan Hartman is seated as the 2nd seed. Third is Isaac Erickson. 4th place is Kobe Kramer. 5th place is Dylan Dundor. 6th place is Aaron Strickland. And our final qualifier in 7th was Caden Duff at plus 51. So again, on this side, we have Dylan Dundor, Aaron Strickland, and Caden Duff bowling in our first shootout for the handicap division.
All right, so there are your 14 finalists, just moments away to starting here as the fans sitting here clapping for their finalists one last time. And Matt, just any achievements in today's tournament at all from any of the bowlers?
Well, we had some good scores today. However, they were bowling on the challenging 41-foot Athens pattern. We didn't have any what we would call honor scores so far today. But I can tell you the bowlers are trying to shoot 300 for sure, as we have a side pot in our tournament called a 300 pot, and the 300 pot is currently at $219 in scholarships. So if anyone shoots a 300 in the finals, they will get a $219 scholarship. But we are ready to get started. Starting with on 3 and 4, we have Ethan Resch up with his first shot. Goes a little high, leaving the 4-pin.
Resch again qualifying 5th, finished plus 63 on the day. Resch shooting for his spare, and he'll make that. So a mark to start here in the finals. And as for the handicap, Dylan Dundor opens in his first frame.
Oh, Yes, we have a $300 first prize for today. The prizes go, we're going to pay out a total of over $1,400 in scholarships today for today's event.
So a lot on the line for these youth bowlers here in the 6th major of the season here in the PJBT tournament series. DJ Brown on lane 4, leaves an 8 count.
Okay, we have DJ Brown looking for a spare to start off the match here. He picks up the spare. So he starts off with the spare also. 2 spares on the board. Now up is Brett Zirkle. He'll be up on lane 3 for the scratch side.
Brett Zirkle again the last spot into the finals, finishing plus 56 after match play. And Brett Zirkle on lane 3, shooting his spare, and he's unable to convert. Again, he came in as the last spot through match play.
Nice spare there by Caden Duff to start his match on the handicap side. Now up for the second frame on the scratch side is DJ Brown.
DJ Brown, second frame shot, spare in the first, leaves the 10 pin.
It's okay. Tell him to wait. Okay, 10 pin there for Ethan Resch, looking to make it back-to-back spares on lane.
Only bowler so far to get a strike for either handicap or scratch, Aaron Strickland in his first frame. And now there's Dylan Dundorf battling back after that open there in the first frame, getting at the crossover, gets the strike.
Goes high there, leaving the 6-10 spare.
DJ Brown shooting a 234 his first game of qualifying, then a couple of 170, 160 game, and then finishing off in the low 200s to finish qualifying. Finished 8th, tied for 8th after the 5 games of qualifying as he picks up his spare there. Again, Aaron Strickland, the only bowler to roll a strike so far today. And she goes up for a shot here. Left side, leaves the 5 pin. Again, winner of these 2 matches go on to play the 3-4 seed, and then the winner of that will move on to the top 3 Stepladder final. As Strickland's able to convert.
Okay, now we have Brett Zirkle up on lane 4. Started with an open frame, looking to pick that up here. And he gets the strike.
Able to get that cross to come over and just take out the 10 pin. So he also comes back after a 6-3 open back in the first frame.
Okay, now up in the handicap side, we have Caden Duff. Well, that's a very interesting leave. We have the 3, 7, 8, 10.
Not something you see every day.
Absolutely not. One thing we want to point out with the handicap bowlers is that each bowler does receive their handicap on the handicap side. Caden receives the most in handicap. He actually gets 72 pins per game as he gets 2 there. Dylan gets 27 pins handicap, and Aaron gets 24. So of the bowlers, their score plus handicap. Back on the scratch side, lane 3, solid 10 there by Ethan Resch. Nice shot, just no carry.
Ethan Resch, 9 spare in the first 2 frames, so he's looking to do the same, trying to pick up the 10 pin, which he did last frame on the right side on lane 4. As he goes right back up, and this time just misses it right in the gutter.
That's a tough one. It was a great shot on the first shot. You'll have to try to recover from that open frame. Back up on lane 5 on the handicap side, we have Dylan Dunmore going wide, leaving the 2-10 split.
Dundor coming into the finals, 5th seeded in the handicap, 84, plus 84 pins overall.
It's a very interesting format. It's very similar to what we use almost every week, where they bowl the 5 games of qualifying, that 40% cut, and then we go into 3 games of head-to-head match play. And it's not only important that they bowl well in the match play round, but to win their matches, because they do get bonus pins for winning their match. 30 pin bonus for a win and 15 for a tie, obviously 0 if you lose. So it's not only important to bowl a big game, but to also bowl win those matches. It helps you move up the leaderboard.
It's amazing the difference that 2-3 wins can really make in a game, even if you just win by a couple of pins. Those 2-3 wins with the extra pins really boost you a long way, as DJ Brown is back up on lane 4.
Absolutely. With those match play games, you always want to try to, especially on patterns like this, sometimes 160, 170 is a good score. If you can win your match, you basically break even that game and don't lose ground on the field. Whereas the bowler who loses that match usually drops 40 pins off their score, and it can really drop them backwards. So not only the score, but winning that match is so important in that match play round.
Again, we're here in the 3rd frame. ABC East Lanes, Dylan Bauer alongside Matt Himmelreich, and DJ Brown just there on lane 4, not able to knock down the 10 pin. So his first open of the contest, but 6th major of the season. You had 5 other earlier in the year. How did those all turn out for PJBTs?
Well, the PJBT is actually in its 16th season, and thanks to you guys, this is our first ever live broadcast, so we're real excited about that. But our season's been going great. We started off, as we do every year, our season goes from the end of August to up into mid-June every season. And we started the first major off at 222 Dutch Lanes with over 125 bowlers at our first event. And then we pretty much have tournaments going on every weekend from that first weekend in August all the way through to our championship weekend in June, which I'll try to give a preview later during the breaks between our matches. But we usually have some pro bowlers, including Parker Bone, Danny Wiseman, Brian Simonelli, Doug Kent, and usually Kelly Kulik or one of the ladies from the ladies' side come in to join us for our championship weekend. So we're always very excited to have the pro bowlers in to interact with our youth.
That's something always, the youth bowlers always looking forward to that day, especially when they get to meet some of them and bowl alongside of them when they get chances.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of them, to bowlers, just like any sport, those are the bowlers that they kind of look up to. They watch every week on television. So realistically, they have the opportunity with our tour, which I love to be able to say, to meet those type of bowlers, get their autograph, get advice, you know, and hopefully it drives them to want to be a pro bowler someday.
And it's always the PJBTs and other youth tournaments are always a great way to start out, especially for youth, getting them involved in the sport of bowling. And it's great for not just the older bowlers who come out of the youth bowlers, but the bowlers who are just trying to get in, especially when you have like a handicap division for not as experienced bowlers like the scratch bowlers.
Correct, and many of our scratch bowlers at one time were handicap bowlers. And what a lot of people don't realize is with our events, some events we bowl on easier patterns, but some, like today, we bowl on a little bit more challenging patterns. And a lot of our bowlers, when they go out to the higher levels of collegiate bowling and the national tournament out at Junior Gold, they see these patterns. So we try to give them these patterns to bowl on to get that experience. One thing is you can never get enough experience with these patterns, so that when you get into those bigger tournaments, you're ready to compete on these types of challenging patterns.
Again, same very good experience as Ethan Rush up there on the right lane. He's able to get the split, so 3 of 4 spares for Ethan Rush so far through 4 frames, just the 1 open frame last frame. But as you can see, from the scores, not much action as far as strikes, and the players that are in the game the most are the ones who are still picking up their spares.
Yes, Dylan went a little wide there on lane 6, leaving the 1-2-5. One thing you noticed with the scores is as we start here early, pretty even so far, especially on the scratch side. All 3 bowlers with an open frame in the 3rd frame as we were discussing the format and the pattern, and so far it's a pretty even match on that side. So far on the handicap side, chop spare there for Dundor. On the handicap side, it looks like Erin Strickland currently is your leader. She does not have an open frame yet through 3 frames. Back up on the scratch side, DJ Brown up for his 4th frame.
DJ Brown, 6th seed coming into the finals. Finished at plus 58, so just able to sneak his way on in here as he gets a 5 count on that shot, open last frame.
Very tricky spare here, the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Basically what we call the bucket in bowling plus the 7-pin. It's important to get the ball in between the 2-5 area. Make sure you get all 5 here on the spare.
Brown shoots for his spare. He's going to miss it just right. So he's able to at least pick up 3, which will help him out. But that's back-to-back opens now for DJ Brown.
Yeah, very tricky there with this pattern. That ball's not going to hook back. There are a lot of oil there in the middle. So let's see how Erin does in the 4th frame. A big strike to keep the board clean and take the lead on the handicap side.
So she's the first player to 2 strikes for either handicap or scratch. Not very many strikes actually at all, only 4 strikes in total, and she has 2 of them. So she's off to a hot start, is Strickland.
Big strike there by Brett Zirkle on lane 4. 4th frame strike, keeping him in the scratch match. One thing about this pattern I can tell you, Dylan, is it is 41 feet. There's a lot of volume toward the middle of the lane. And it sort of tapers off toward the outside, so it is very tricky. It is not your average bowling pattern. So for any viewers out there who are used to bowling on their regular, as we call, house pattern, or your typically easier pattern, this is certainly not that pattern. So the strikes are going to be a little more at a minimum unless a bowler can get lined up.
Yeah, you can definitely see by the scores so far here, 4 frames through in the finals here of the first round, with the 5, 6, 7 advancing on to face the 3 and 4 seeds.
Interesting combination here for Caden Duff, the 1, 3, 8, 10, and he leaves the 10, so it'll be another open frame for Caden. Right now, though, with his handicap so far, he's neck and neck with Aaron Strickland on the handicap side. Back to the scratch side, and Ethan Resch, frame 5, trips the 4-pin for his first strike of the game.
And finally able to get it to fall. You can see his first 3 shots of the game very close, and that one still got a little tight, but he was able to finally get all 10 pins to fall.
Dylan Dundor up on lane 5 with his second strike of the game.
Dylan Dundor, for the leader after qualifying with his 5 games. Ended up 93 over with his handicap.
That's the interesting part of the match play round. I think he lost a little bit of ground in the match play portion of today's event, but still was able to hold his ground to maintain a spot in the finals. Now DJ Brown up for the 5th frame, following 2 opens, looking for his first strike. 5th frame. Wide, leaving the 1-2.
It's pretty much the same thing he did even on the previous shot, shooting the spare. Just keeps leaving it outside a little wide. Needs to start bringing it in more.
Well, for our viewers out there who are watching, a lot of times on your typical house pattern, if you put the ball out that far, the ball would come back. It would gain some friction, as we call, and from a break point status, it would come back. On these types of patterns with a heavier volume of oil, the ball is not going to grab as fast, and in this case, he missed the pocket, but does a nice job there converting the spare.
Back to the handicap side, Aaron Strickland up, working on a strike. Solid 10-pin left by her.
Another nice shot by Aaron. She seems to be the bowler who's lined up the most, especially of the handicap bowlers on the right pair here, 5 and 6. We'll see if that works out for her at the end, but she looks like she's keeping the shot tight and very, very straight toward the pocket. Looking for the spare here, but is not able to convert.
First open for Strickland. Again, ABC East Lanes, the 6th major of the year for the PJBTs. I'm Dylan Bauer alongside Matt Himmelreich for today's final event. Again, Matt, if you would just want to go over the format again of the finals.
Sure. Basically, we have 2 shootout rounds and 2 stepladder finals. We have 7 bowlers in the finals in each division. The pair to the left is your scratch division. And scratch means that basically whatever they bowl, okay, head to head. 5 and 6 is our handicap pair, and the handicap is based on 90% of 200. And bowlers use their highest league average. With the 7 finalists, we have seeds 5, 6, and 7 bowling a 1-game shootout right now. The top finisher of these 3 bowlers will advance to bowl a 2nd shootout with the bowlers of the 3rd and 4th seed. And the winner of the 2nd shootout will advance to the first of 2 stepladder matches, a semifinal and a final match, which will be 2 bowlers bowling head-to-head.
So there's essentially 4 rounds. We're in the first round as, again, like you said, we're in the shootout here, so the winner of these matches moves on. And again, it's close one on both sides, not just handicap or scratch. Very tight for both of the parties.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also to mention that all 14 of these bowlers that are bowling today earn the scholarships for today's event. We're going to pay out over $1,400 in scholarships today, and the top prize winner takes home a $300 scholarship in each division, and most importantly, our beautiful awards from our provider Crown Trophy, who provide all of our awards. The winner takes home a glass bowling pin. It's really cool.
Which I believe you do for all the major tournaments, correct?
That is correct, yes. Major events, they get a glass bowling pin, and that's been a signature of our events for the last couple of years. The bowlers really enjoy those. They are literally made of glass, and they're very heavy.
They are very nice as well. Yeah.
Back to the action here. We have Dylan Dundur looking for a spare in frame 6. Picks up the spare.
Again, while we were talking, Ethan Rush was able to get his second strike in a row. So he's now working on a double, and also is Brett Zirkle. He's also on a double as well. But DJ Brown is the one up now on lane 3 for the scratch.
Yes, DJ looking for his first strike. He needs to get something going here. Both his opponents in this shootout match have doubles working. So he is trailing here as he comes up on the left lane in the 6th frame. Going wide, leaving the 2-8 spare combination. Again, his ball looks like it's still not making its way perfectly to the pocket. Again, it looks like he's around that area where the ball is struggling to get back to the pocket. It's not picking up the friction fast enough. In his sake, for the match, he'll probably have to make an adjustment.
His 6th frame's through, and like you said, both of his opponents on doubles, so he's going to have to make an adjustment here for the next frame, pending what they do to stay in it. And he's able to pick up that spare, so that's a big spare for him. Will at least be able to stay in it for the time being.
Absolutely, great job there by picking up the 2-8. Back on the handicap pair, 5 and 6, Erin Strickland up for her 6th frame following the missed 10 pin. Good shot, leaving the 4 pin. Erin Strickland is from near where my hometown is. She's from Pottsville, Pennsylvania. I know she bowls out of Strike Zone Alleys in Pottsville, where I make my home now to bowl on a Monday night league. So she is from the cold regions where I am. Looking for the spare here, and she converts.
So she's back on with the marks after the open. Had 4 to start the game. Back on to the scratch side. Brett Zirkle, again, working off of a double.
Big shot here for his 6th frame, looking for 3 in a row. Boy, that ball just demolished the pins, but missed the 10 pin there.
Seeing a lot of solid 10 pins as well here, starting here in the finals.
Important conversion here for Zirkle, as he was running neck and neck with Ethan to be the leader of the 3-person shootout, but he misses the 10 pin.
Just couldn't get it out as far as he would have liked to, and like you said, just misses it left. Back onto the handicap side. Caden Duff looking for his 2nd mark of the game. Has at least a good start to it as he leaves the 4-7.
Good shot there by Caden. One thing to point out of the 3 bowlers in this match, Caden is the one with the lowest entering average. He entered with a 119 average today, and that's one of the exciting things about our tournaments is watching so many youth bowlers. You know, sometimes people ask me how young is too early to start in our tournaments, and I tell them it's never too early to start. We have some very young bowlers that actually have title wins in our tournaments. It's very exciting to watch the younger bowlers grow up and start out really young. So missed his spare though there on the 6th frame, so we'll see how that plays out for him. Back to the scratch side, Ethan Resch coming up high a little bit, leaving the 4-pin there. Ethan looking for a spare conversion to match up again with, to keep the lead actually on Brett Zirkle, as they were about even until Brett missed that spare.
He'll be able to knock it down, so momentarily he's in the lead for the scratch side. As we go back to the handicap side, Dylan Dundor, who led handicap after qualifying, ended up as the 5th seed going here into the finals at plus 84. This whole crossover leaves the 1-3.
Interesting shot again there. Looked like he pulled the ball just a little bit. And for the viewers out there, when you bowl on these tougher patterns, your window of mistake is a lot less. You have to make good shots on these patterns. It looked like he made a mistake there by missing his mark, but he does a nice job picking up the spare.
Something we mentioned earlier, if you don't necessarily get the strikes, it's not that big of a deal as long as you make the spares. Again, like you said, this tough pattern like this, just making your spares easily keeps you in the match.
Absolutely. When we bowled here a couple weeks ago with our live broadcast for the Buddies Pro Shop Adult Bowlers Tour, we talked much about that. With these patterns, it's important that you put spares up on the board, keep that board clean. You know, 180, 190 is not necessarily a bad game on these patterns.
So DJ Brown working on a spare and still unable to find the pocket for a strike. He'll leave the 4-7.
Got a good break there, tripping out the 10-pin. It could have been a lot worse as the ball creeped a little bit high there. Important to get a spare conversion to try to keep himself in the match here.
7th frame here in the first round of the finals of the PJBT 6th major of the season at ABC East Lanes. Brown's able to hold on to it and make the spare.
Okay, we have Erin Strickland up on lane 6. She's up in the 7th frame following a spare. Looks like the shot's going wide, and she gets only 3 on that shot.
It's really the first bad shot that she had here in the finals. Her first 6 shots in the game were some of the best over there on the handicap side. So she's really been doing well. That one just couldn't get it to come back. Just got it too far outside.
Again, a great example of the pattern we're talking about. When you push the ball to the right, there's a heavy volume that the ball is just going to continue to skid, and she does a nice job cleaning that up for a spare. That could have been ugly for her, but a big conversion, and but again, a perfect example of what can happen if you miss your mark on this type of pattern. All right, back on the scratch side, we have Brett Zirkle up following his open frame on lane 3, looking to get something going. 7th frame. He goes up light, leaving the 2-5. Interesting combination, however, here, Dylan, as the 5-pin got moved over. So it is off spot. So this is kind of an interesting spare here for him. Not your common 2-5 spare. And as maybe expected, he was chopped to spare. Almost a bad break there with the movement of that 5-pin. So he's looking at 103 on the board right now. So his max will be a 193. Ethan Resch looks to be the leader right now as he can max out at 226. Back on the handicap side, Caden Duff, with a good shot, leaving just the 4-pin.
Just one more thing to point out, when you have scores like this, 3 frames left, you may think it's like a sealed deal, but with this kind of pattern, nothing's guaranteed by any means, so this can easily change for both the scratch and the handicap side, as Duff getting the 9 count on his first shot.
Absolutely. Every shot is important. Caden missing his spare there. He has a 67 now in the 7th frame with his handicap. That puts him at 139. So he is about even with Aaron Strickland still. Dylan trying to catch up. He's right behind him. Back on the scratch side, Ethan Resch with a big strike there.
Very big frame for him. Again, 8th frame. And he's able to get it down, and he continues to build on his lead now, which he gained back in the 4th frame.
Yeah, Resch starting to take control of this match as he has 3 strikes in the last 4 frames. Back on the handicap side, Dylan Dundor, with a nice strike there. His 3rd strike of the match.
Dundor has plus 27 handicap, so that'll add to his final score. So that one on the handicap side, very close between all 3 bowlers.
Yeah, our handicap side is pretty tight. Resch is starting to pull away here on the scratch side, but we'll see if anybody can put some pressure on him. DJ Brown still looking for that first strike. It's 8th frame. Makes a great shot and trips the 9-pin. Probably the best shot of the match for him.
Finally able to get the strike, but again, he didn't have a strike that whole game, but he's still in the match going into the 9th frame for both him and Resch. And Zirkle still has to shoot his 8th frame as Aaron Strickland's back up on lane 5. 9 count for her.
Good break there for Aaron, crossing over for a moment, had a split there, the 6-7-10. Was able to trip out the back pins of 7 and 10, leaving just the 6.
Able to pick up the spare. Aaron Strickland gets 24 pins handicap.
Yeah, right now, Aaron Strickland, as we're watching the scratch match, she can max out at 197 plus her 24, so she'll be in the 220s. She'd be the highest right now of any bowler on that side. As you see, Brett Zirkle goes wide a little bit there, leaving the 2-pin for his 8th frame. So to summarize the scratch side, DJ Brown can max out at 197. Brett Zirkle can now max out at 183. But Ethan Resch in the lead can max out at 226. So he's got about a 20-some pin lead on both of his opponents in this first shootout.
Back onto the handicap side. Caden Duff, 67 through 7 frames. His 8th frame shot will give him an 8 count, leaving the 1-3.
Again, a good first ball count for him. He's doing well with that. Looking to pick up a spare here, though. This would be his first spare since the first frame of the game. He's had a couple of opens and splits, but for a 119 average bowler, not doing too bad. That one looks to be online, and he gets it.
So that one's going to be a big spare there in the 8th frame, keeping him in the game. And again, like we keep saying there on the handicap side, very close once you tally in all the handicap points. Ethan Rush, 6 count.
Tough spare here for Ethan. Important to get. It's always that back pin, the 3, 6, 9, 10 combination. It's always important to get the right angle and get the 9 pin taken out of this spare. Nice conversion.
Another big pickup by Rush. Only has 1 open through 9 frames. Going to go into the 10th, working on a spare. Dylan Dundor on the handicap side, working on a strike. Again, Dundor will get 27 pins added on for his handicap.
Big shot here for Dundor, 9th frame. Comes up light, leaving the 2 pin. With a conversion here, he can max out with handicap around 200, so he still trails Strickland. He sits approximately in 2nd place, it looks like, on the scoreboard. So he'll have to have a big 10th frame and need some help.
Meanwhile, DJ Brown working off of his first strike of the game. A big strike here most definitely keeps him in the match.
We can point out to the viewers that as scholarship payouts, the 6th and 7th place finishers in today's event each get a $35 scholarship, and they will also receive medals, which we will present immediately following this first shootout. DJ Brown, 9th frame. Crosses over, leaving the 5 pin.
DJ Brown shooting his spare in the 9th frame. Misses it left.
Unfortunately, that might be the dagger for DJ Brown, as he can only max out now at 165. Resch with that score already on the board. Back to the handicap side. We have Aaron Strickland crossing over, getting a good break, leaving just the 9 pin.
Strickland shooting her spare in the 9th frame. She'll make that, so she'll head into the 10th frame, working on a spare. And now it's going to be a big shot here for Brett Zirkle, who can max out at 183.
Yeah, at this point on the scratch side rather, Zirkle must strike on this ball, and he gets a nice trip of the 4 there and goes a little high. Both bowlers are going to need help from Ethan Resch to stay in the match, as Ethan is on pace to shoot 200, while both of his opponents cannot shoot 200. So Ethan needs to keep the board clean, and he'll pretty much be our first shootout winner. On the handicap side, Caden Duff through the face and a strike. Great shot by Caden there. As we like to call it, the snowplow strike. Right through the face and takes them all down.
So Ethan Resch can finish it here, as he is first up in the 10th frame, and that strike will do it. Ethan Resch will officially advance on to the next round in a shootout round against the 3 and 4 seed, as he has knocked out both of his opponents, who can max out at 183. The highest is Brett Zirkle. Now he's starting to get something going. Big time for him to figure this out late in the game going into this next match against the 3 and 4 seeds. So that'll be big for him and advancing on further in the finals.
Very interesting what you're going to see here in just a moment. I noticed that Ethan ran back to his bag and grabbed another bowling ball, being that he already has the match locked up. Obviously, this is kind of a practice shot for him. He can try something with a different ball, see if he can get lined up for the next match. He goes light, leaving the 2-5. However, brings home a score of 204, which will be enough to take home the victory for the first shootout in the scratch division.
So the other bowlers for scratch looking to finish their day. However, we still have the 10th frame to go on the handicap side. A close one over there, as Dylan Dundor is up first. Leaves the 10 pin. Again, he's getting 27 pins added on to his score. Shoots his 10 pin. That one goes in the gutter. So he finishes with a 152 in the game, 179 overall when you add in his handicap. Back to the scratch side, DJ Brown looking to finish his day strong. A 135 through 9 frames, open last frame. 7 count there on his first shot in the 10th.
Pretty much at this point, bowling for bragging rights, as the higher score would be the 6th place finisher, and the lowest score of the 3 bowlers would be our 7th place finisher today. Same amount of scholarship, just bragging rights of 6th or 7th. So he can max out at this point at 155 with a spare and strike. Zirkle is on a pace to shoot at least 160 at the moment. Converts to spare.
DJ Brown's able to strike on his final shot. So DJ Brown officially finishing with a 155. Fortunately, he is not moving on. Now over to the handicap side, Aaron Strickland looking to do the opposite and move on. She crosses over 9 pin and 9 count, not able to get it to fall. Eric Strickland there picks up her spare. So big fill shot for her here in the 10th frame. She's getting 24 pins added onto her score. And the opponent still going against her. Caden Duff gets 72 onto his score, and he's working on a strike in the 9th. So Strickland's final shot, 9 count. So she'll finish officially with a final score 174 plus 24, gives her a 198 total. So a good game there from Erin Strickland.
Okay, yeah, let's point out as we have the final shots here for Brett Zirkle, looking to finish 6th or 7th. On that right pair, Caden Duff can still max out at 210 and win the match, but he will need probably a mark or a strike on the first ball to beat Erin Strickland. So we still have a battle on the handicap side. Zirkle going left there, leaving the 5-pin. He needs to convert this and keep the ball on the lane pretty much, and he'll be our 6th place finisher in scratch. He gets the spare.
For Caden Duff, we'll need to shoot a 126 scratch. And then the 72 with time for the 198. So in order for him to win, he'll take a 127 from Caden Duff. Again, he's in handicap. His shot coming up next after Brett Zirkle finishes his day with his final fill shot here. And he strikes a 163 officially for Brett Zirkle.
Yep, Brett will be our 6th place finisher, and DJ Brown will finish in 7th. They will each get a $35 scholarship, and we'll present those awards to the bowlers here in just a moment.
And finally, here's Caden Duff on lane 6. His shot going down, 6 count for Duff.
Well, now Duff can max out at a score of 127. If he spares and strikes here, it would be 127 plus 72 would be 199. So he would have to spare and strike to win the match by 1. And it does not convert. So Duff finishes with a 113 and a 185. That means Erin Strickland will be our winner, advancing to the 2nd shootout.
So there you have it, Erin Strickland moving on for the handicap. And for the scratch, Ethan Rush moving on with a final score of 204 in the scratch division, finishing 6th and 7th in the scratch. Brett Zirkle and DJ Brown. And for the handicap, Caden Duff and Dylan Dundor. So those bowlers going on to face the 3 and 4 seeds in their respective division. Ryan Carlisi, 3rd seed for a scratch, plus 86. Brianna Lyon, plus 66. She's the 4 seed. And then Ethan Rush for the handicap, the 3 seed Isaac Erickson, and the 4 seed Kobe Creamer. Erickson plus 127. Kramer rather, plus 107. So those are your matchups again coming up. PJBT, 6th major of the season here at ABC East Lanes in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm Dylan Bauer. Matt Himmelreich, tournament director, also my partner here today, just momentarily going to announce the award ceremony for your 6th and 7th place finalists. Again, DJ Brown, Brett Zirkle for the scratch, and for the handicap was Dylan Dundor and Caden Duff. And just moments from now, Matt Himmelreich will be out to present the 6th and 7th finalists with their rewards and their scholarship money.
In the scratch division, getting a $35 handicap division. 7th place finisher getting a $35 scholarship, certificate, and medal goes to Dundor. And our 6th place finisher in handicap getting a $35 scholarship, certificate, and medal goes to Caden Duff. Okay, on to our second shootout.
We are back live at ABC East Lanes in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. 6th major of the season in the PJBT series. And now we're down to the second shootout in today's tournament. Matt, again, just quickly, if you want to go over how each of these bowlers got to where they are and the format for the rest of the tournament.
Yes, we actually had 5 games of qualifying during today's bowling. We had 41 scratch bowlers and 38 handicap bowlers, so a total of 79 bowlers. And the top 16, 40%, advanced in each division to the second round, which was match play. 3 games worth of match play. And from the results of the match play, with scores carrying over, the top 7 advanced to the finals. Now we are in our second shootout match here. Our first match was seeds 5, 6, and 7, which we just aired, and the winner of that match for scratch was Ethan Resch. Ethan advanced to bowl with our 3rd and 4th seeds in a second shootout in this round. The 3rd seed is Ryan Carlisi, and the 4th seed is Brianna Lyon, who just struck on lane 4. You'll see also on lane 3, Ethan Resch leaving a solid 10-pin. Both bowlers starting with a strike and scratch, except for Ethan leaving the 10-pin. If we move over to the handicap side, on lanes 5 and 6, we have our 3rd seed, Isaac Erickson, who started his game with a spare. And we have 4th seed, Kobe Kramer. He's up right now on lane 6. And he strikes for his first shot. Kobe is the 4th seed, and Isaac and Kobe are taking on Aaron Strickland, the winner of our first shootout match in the handicap division.
So there you have it. Again, second round here. 2 more rounds to follow, but those are both stepladder finals. This one, again, shootout. The winner moves on to face the 2 seed for both of the divisions, and there's Aaron Strickland. She advanced through the first round. Goes wide left there on her first shot here in this round.
Interesting to point out, in our second shootout here on the handicap pair, all 3 of the bowlers' handicaps are pretty close. They're within about 12 pins of each other, so it'd be very interesting to see if the handicap even makes any difference. It might end up being a scratch match on that side. She's looking to convert this tough spare. Goes through the face and gets leaves 2 stands, so that'll be an open frame to start her match. Carlisi misses his spare in the second frame there, so he starts strike open. So we have a open frame there for Carlisi. Again, Isaac Erickson with a strike.
Again, Dylan Bauer joined alongside Matt Himmelreich for the 6th major tournament of the season for the PJBTs here at ABC East Lanes in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We're down to the second shootout round, and so far it's been much different than the first round. Already noticing some early strikes here in this round, as Brianna Lyon is up on the left side, struck her first frame. 8 count on that shot.
Kobe Kramer now up on the right pair, handicap side, looking for a double. Tried to mix it, but leaves the 7-pin.
Kramer struck back his first frame, and he qualified 4th in today's event after match play.
Good spare there by Brianna Lyon, keeping the board clean. Strike spare to start. Again, the top finisher from each of these matches will advance to a head-to-head stepladder semifinal, with the winner advancing to bowl in a title match head-to-head. Kobe Kramer missing the spare there. Resch getting a break there, going high through the face, leaving just the 10-pin. Could have been a lot worse.
Resch again, the one who advanced from the first round, 204 he shot last game, scratch. So a very good game for him. And he's looking to do the same here against the 3 and 4 seeds.
Looks like they'll be respotting the 10 pin there on lane 4. For some reason, the rack took that one down, but they'll be respotting that in just a moment. Meanwhile, on lane 6, Aaron Strickland missed the head pin to the left for the second straight time, looking to convert the 136, and she does. So that gets her first mark of the game on the scoreboard.
Again, she's the one who advanced in the handicap division. She shot 198 for her first game here in the finals, as Resch is able to pick up his spare. So back-to-back spares for Resch to start here in the second round.
Isaac Erickson in the handicap division up on lane 5 with a nice strike, giving him a double and jumping out to the early lead with a spare and a double.
Isaac Erickson plus 127 after the match play round, coming in as the 3rd seed, and he's looking hot here to start in the handicap division.
Back on the scratch side, Ryan Carlisi goes wide, leaving the 210 split. Again, this is a tough one. I need to get the ball to the left of the 2 pin to try to convert, but before he tries to convert, we have Kobe Kramer on lane 6, crossing over, leaving the 6 pin.
Kobe Kramer even after the 5 games of qualifying from earlier.
Yeah, Kobe actually was even going into the match play round, but then jumped to plus 107 by bowling some good games and winning his matches. So he made his move in match play, as many players do in this format.
Yeah, there you can see how big of a difference it is when you get into those match play rounds, winning the games. And Kobe Kramer, a very good example of that.
Strickland looking for the crossover strike, leaves the 5 pin. I believe that's 3 shots in a row for Erin, and she's crossed over, so she might need to make an adjustment there. We'll see how that plays out.
Again, she's struggling here in the first 3 frames after her good game of 198 last match.
Brianna Lyon picking up the spare. Brianna, the only female on our scratch side from the Maryland, comes up to bowl our events from the state of Maryland with a nice spare there. And also Aaron Strickland picks up her spare.
And there's Ethan Resch able to get his first strike on the board here in the second round after getting 2 spares to start. Shot 204 last game to qualify. Again, the winner of these games moves on to the next round, and the losers still go home with a decent amount of money and scholarship.
Absolutely. The non-winners in this round will pick up a $50 scholarship for 4th and 5th place, essentially, and they'll also receive a stand-up plaque from our Provider Crown Trophy. So we'll be presenting those immediately following this match. Spare there for Isaac Erickson on the right pair, as Ryan Carlisi continues to struggle to get lined up, leaving the 4-7-9. He has now back-to-back opens and splits, so he has 46 through 4 on the board. Kramer with his 4th frame shot, crossing over, getting his 3rd consecutive 9 count. He'll be looking to get back-to-back spares. Back on the scratch side, Brianna Lyon coming up light, leaving the 2-5 spare. She'll be looking for her 3rd consecutive spare to keep the board clean, as we talked about earlier, so important in this format. Kobe missing the spare on the right pair there.
Kobe Kramer coming into to the day, averaging a 186. He has the lowest handicap over there for the handicap side, which is 12, and Strickland the highest with 24. So most of that will be roughly around the same pins in handicap over on the handicap side.
Yes, and we have Strickland up on lane 6, looking to trip the 7. It comes up light. Good shot, though. Probably the best shot she's thrown this game so far, but just short of the 7. Back on the scratch side, Ethan Resch crosses over and takes home the strike.
There's a double there for Resch. He has 2 in a row, 2 spares to start, so he's looking clean, continuing from where he left off in his first game here in the finals.
Fortunate break there for him. Back on lane 6, Erin Strickland picks up her spare, keeping herself in the match on the handicap side. Meanwhile, back on lane 3 on the scratch side, Ryan Carlisi crossing over. It looks like Ryan's really struggling to get lined up as he's playing the deep inside part of the lane, and depending on how the oil is carrying down, that can cause havoc for how the ball will react, as we see a nice strike there by Isaac Erickson. He continues to hold the lead on the handicap side. And there's a mark for Carlisi, good spare, 3-9.
Speaking of Carlisi, he got into the qualifying with minus 68, and then he ended up plus 86 after match play. So there's another example of one of the bowlers who made a big change during the match play round.
Absolutely. What ended up happening was he was the 16th seed. He was the last bowler to make the cut for the first round, but made a run all the way from 16th to 3rd by winning his matches in the match play round and bowling some big games. So, you know, that's what it takes to get to the finals, but struggling here. Now, back to the action. Kramer leaving the ball to the right, leaving the front 1-2-3-5 combination, covers it up. So Kramer with a spare in the 5th. Back on the scratch side, lane 4, Brianna Lyon leaving the 10 pin. She's looking for her 4th consecutive spare, certainly keeping her in the match, and it looks like she has lined up spare number 4.
She's doing a very good job here through half the game, just keeping it clean, and that's one of the reasons why she's still in this. Ethan Resch, who also is clean as of now, he's up on lane 3 working on a double.
Resch goes wide, leaving the 1-2-7-8 combination. He'll be looking to convert that in a moment. On 5 and 6, we just had a strike from Erin Strickland. And now up our leader, Isaac Erickson, goes wide, leaving the 1-2-4-8. It's very interesting to point out as we're watching this, Dylan, you notice some of the bowlers, as soon as they hit the mark, they get a strike. But as soon as they missed wide or they missed left or right, I should say, totally different reaction out of their bowling ball. So that comes into play with this pattern. Let's see if Erickson can cover it up. He misses it, taking off just the head pin. So that'll be an open frame. That'll allow his opponents a little bit back into the match.
It's Erickson's first open frame, too. He's been really coming into this game strong, 113 through 6 frames. And there we just saw Carlisi strike on lane 4.
Big strike there for Ryan, and to give himself at least some type of chance to get back into the match. He hadn't had a strike since the first frame. He trails Ethan Resch and Brianna Lyon at this point in the match. Resch with a short lead over Lyon as we're at the halfway point of the second shootout.
Kobe Kramer able to get his second strike of the match again, or same as Carlisi. His second one, first one came back in the first frame as Lyons up on lane 3, leaves a little split.
Good shot there, just crossed over a little bit. We have a little tricky spare there, the 310 baby split.
And Lyon actually,
Good.
Lion was actually the leader after qualifying for the scratch division, plus 50, mainly because of her second game, a 254.
Interesting conversion here for Lion on lane 3. See if she can fit it in there and take home the 310. She is not able to. So an open frame for her, the first one of the game for her. Meanwhile, on the handicap side, another spare for Erin Strickland. Strickland doing a good job keeping the board clean. She started with an open frame and has been clean ever since. So we have a very close match on the handicap side. Now our leader, Ethan Resch, looking to extend his lead with another strike in the 6th.
Resch really has been looking solid. Came in as the 5th seed after match play, and during that the first 5 frames of that first round for Resch, he struggled, and then he started to figure it out, and ever since then he's been lights out, and especially now through 6th frame, 3 strikes, 3 spares for him, and he's still clean.
Carlisi there with a double on the left pair, so he's trying to make a slow comeback. Good shot on 3. Now Kobe Kramer up on lane 6, looking to stay in the match as it's very close still here in handicap. 7th frame. Goes a little light, leaving the 7 pin. On lane 4, Lion up now, coming off her only open frame so far. 7th frame, crossing over, leaving the 6-10 combination.
Kramer rather able to make the 7 pin, so a spare for him. Again, essentially give or take 12 pin difference with the handicap over on the handicap side. Strickland has the 12 pin advantage, and then Isaac Erickson has pretty much a 10 pin or 8 pin advantage over Kobe Kramer.
Strickland going there a little wide, leaving the 2-4-5-7 combination. Meanwhile, back on the scratch side, Resch goes a little wide, leaving the 1-2-4-8. It's important for Resch here to clean this spare up, keep the board clean, as he does have the lead in the match right now. But both of his opponents, Carlisi on a double and Lion certainly not out of the match yet. Strickland converts the spare, keeping the board clean once again. 6 frames in a row for her with clean frames. Resch converts, and that will allow him to maintain the lead on the scratch side. Now your handicap leader, Isaac Erickson, looking to make it a double. Oh, and he demolished the pocket, but leaves the solid 8 pin. The dreaded solid 8 in bowling. Great shot there.
Erickson plus 127 coming in to this round. It was the 3rd seed, as Carlisi was on a double there. Gets a 6 count. Again, both matches are very close. Resch with the lead on the scratch side. Handicap is, again, also very close, as Erickson misses his spare.
That's a tough one for Isaac there. He had the lead in the match. It'll be interesting to see if his opponents now run him down. See what Kobe can do here on lane 5. He goes up high, but he gets a monumental break of tripping the 4 and the 7. A big shot. That could come back to help him in this match.
Again, yeah, very big shot. Erickson 141 through 8, and for Kramer, he has 116 through 7, but he's working on a strike there in the 8th, as Lion gets an unfortunate break for her. Big split on lane 3.
Yeah, we have splits right now on both sides, a 4, 6, 7, 9, 10 for Brianna Lyon. This is referred to as the Greek church in bowling. Brianna, basically what you need to do is get the ball to the right of the 6 pin, hope to bounce it off the 9 into the 4 and 7. A very tricky spare. Let's see if she has any luck. She's able to only get 3. So that will put an open frame up on the board. So right now on the scratch side, both bowlers with a 120-ish score. 120 for Carlisi, 126 for Lyon in the 8th frame. Meanwhile, Resch has a commanding lead as he's up on lane 3.
Here's
goes a little bit light, leaving the 2-7. Oh, yes. Just got pointed out to me that Ethan Resch bowled on the wrong lane there, so no problem. Well, he'll actually have to they'll erase that, and he'll have to take it over in the correct lane by PJBT rules. So they will reset that 2-7, and he'll go over to lane 4. Meanwhile, on the handicap side, Isaac Erickson leaving a split, looking for the conversion, and he gets it. Nice shot.
very big conversion there for him. Keeps him pretty much close to being in the lead, as we'll have to see what Kramer can do as he's working on a strike there in the 8th frame.
Yeah, all the bowlers on the handicap side are pretty close to maxing out at an equal total. Looks like Kobe Kramer has a small lead right now. Nine pin on for Resch as he took it over on the correct lane. So 9 pins he will try to convert here. Spare for Resch. Meanwhile, on the handicap side, Kobe Kramer just left a 7 pin. So he'll be looking to convert here. Kramer with a spare here could max out with handicap at a 198. His opponents, however, Isaac Erickson can max out. He picks up the spare. Isaac can max out at a 191 plus 20, so 211. And Aaron Strickland can max out at 188 plus 24. So again, the right pair handicap very tight as far as one bowler advancing to the semifinal. Aaron up in the 9th frame. Crossing over, gets a bad break, leaving the 5-10 split, Dylan.
Not very good for her, as Aaron, or rather Carlisi, very close to making his split, and that's just gonna about push him out the door for this match. Unfortunate break for him, and an unfortunate break for Strickland, both making great shots. As Strickland shoots hers and just left. So she'll head into the 10th frame on an open.
Yeah, with that open, it looks like Isaac Erickson has pretty much taken the lead of the match. But again, very close, so we'll see what happens here. Now, Brianna Lyon, probably the only person who can put some pressure on Resch. 9th frame. Goes up high, leaving the 3-9 combination.
She can max out 176, and Resch still has to shoot his 9th frame. So for the most part, looks like Resch will be the one to move on in the scratch side. Still have to see what they do, but the handicap side, very close, as Erickson gets a split to start the 10th frame, so that'll make things very interesting over there.
Absolutely, Erickson now would need to convert this, or he will end up in the 180s, which means that his opponents are both back in the match. He gets 1 pin, so he will shoot a 166. With his handicap, he will be at 186. And now we'll have to sit and watch his opponents, see what happens. And Ethan Resch just had the most amazing strike on lane 3 we've ever seen, leaving the 1-2-4-8, and an act of God just knocked over all 4 of them.
And that'll officially put him through, as Lion unable to make her shot before, but everything's just been going Rush's way ever since last game when he shot a 204, and it continues this game, and he's been doing outstanding here in the finals as he'll move on to face the 2 seed Dylan Zimmerman in the scratch division.
Okay, now on the handicap side, we still have an undecided match. Kramer leaving the 1-2 spare, looking to pick it up, and he does. So he can max out at also 186. So a strike here would force him into a tie with Erickson. It'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out on the handicap side, as Erin Strickland gets 24 pins handicap. That means she needs to shoot a 164. Actually, I'm sorry, 165 to win the match, which would mean she would need 2 strikes and 9 pins to shut her opponents out. Carlisi there finishing up. He shoots 148, not the showing he was looking for today in the finals, but he bowled very well all day, and he'll take home some prize money.
Kobe
Now,
Kramer's shot.
Kramer goes wide, so he will finish behind Erickson. Erickson now ahead by 2 pins, so it is up to Strickland to determine who is going to advance. Strickland needing 2 strikes and 9 pins to win. 10th frame. And she does not strike, goes wide, leaving the 2-5. And I believe that means Isaac Erickson will be advancing on the handicap side.
Still a very good showing here in the finals by Erin Strickland. Won her first match, shooting a 198 over Caden Duff and Dylan Dunmore, and then come in here, makes it interesting, but just not able to get it done against Isaac Erickson, who shoots the 186. Great game by him. And Strickland officially finishes with the 145 with the handicap 169. So again, your winners of match 2, Isaac Erickson for the handicap as he finished with a 186. On the scratch side, Brianna Lyon finishing up. She finishes with a 165 to officially finish in 4th place. Ryan Carlisi shoots a 148, so he'll finish in 5th place. And Ethan Rush finishing up this game as he gets ready to take on the 2 seed and Dylan Zimmerman. For the handicap, Isaac Erickson will take on Nathan Hartman, who's the 2 seed. But Brianna Lyon had a strike in the first frame and then finished with 3 in the 10th. Just not able to get anything in the middle, and that's one of the main reasons she is knocked out, as Resch picks up the spare on that shot. Here's the final shot from Ethan Rush, and he's able to get the strike, so matches his total from the first match and the first shootout with a 204 as he defeats Brianna Lyon and Ryan Carlisi. And again, he'll be going on to face Dylan Zimmerman in the next round. Dylan Zimmerman plus 96 after the match play round, and Ethan Rush plus 63 after match play round. So he's stepped it up here in the first 2 rounds of the shootout. And then for the handicap division again, it's going to be Isaac Erickson going on to face Nathan Hartman, who finished with a plus 133. Now let's go back down to Matt Himmelreich with the award presentation here for 4th and 5th place.
Okay, owners and parents, if I can have your attention, the results of our second shootout. Finishing in 5th place in the scratch division, getting a $50 scholarship. Certificate in 5th place plaque goes to Ryan Carlisi. And our 4th place finisher in the scratch division, getting a $50 scholarship. Certificate in 4th place plaque goes to Brianna Ryan. In our handicap division, finishing in 5th place, getting a $50 scholarship. Certificate in plaque goes to Aaron Strickland. And our 4th place finisher in the handicap division, getting a $50 scholarship. Certificate in plaque goes to Kobe Kramer. Okay, moving on to our
live back at ABC East Lanes in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the PJBT Major 6 on the season. I'm Dylan Bauer alongside Matt Himmelreich, who's also the tournament director for today's event, and we're down now to the first Stepladder final. 3 bowlers remaining in each division. And Matt, if you just want to tell us quickly how each of these bowlers here got to the point that they're at right now.
Yes, thanks again, guys, for having us, and we appreciate this live broadcast of today's finals. We did 5 games of qualifying today. Many PJBT bowlers know that our major events are typically 6 games, but due to some travel issues for bowlers, we started a little bit late today, so we cut the qualifying back to 5 games. But it was 5 games, top 40% in each division. 16 bowlers that ended up being advanced to the match play round. Bowled 3 games of match play, and then after the match play, we cut to the top 7, which is the 7 finalists is what is airing here on our televised finals. We already bowled the first 2 shootouts. Ethan Resch on the scratch side won both shootouts for the scratch side, so he advanced into the 3rd position. Now bowling the 2nd seed, Dylan Zimmerman from the hometown here of Harrisburg. He'll be bowling, they're bowling head-to-head, and the winner will advance to bowl our tournament leader, Paul Bedoin, in the scratch division. On the handicap side, we have 2nd seed Nathan Hartman, who just missed his spare there to start his match, but Nathan was seeded 2nd, and he's taking on 3rd seed Isaac Erickson, and Isaac won the 2nd and final shootout that we just aired. So the winner of the handicap match will advance to bowl our tournament leader, Chris McCormick.
So we started off with 7 here for each division in the finals, and now we're down to 3 after the 2 shootouts. We're now down to 3 remaining in the stepladders, and as you said about Ethan Resch advancing all the way from the first round, winning both the shootouts, being the 5th seed there in the scratch division, but he's struggling now. Shot 204 both those matches, and already has 2 opens here to start the first stepladder final.
Interesting start here on that scratch side because 2 open frames for Ethan. Dylan, our 2nd seed, Dylan Zimmerman, started with a strike, but now leaving the 2-10 split. So we'll see if he can convert this. If not, you'll be giving some pins back to Resch in the match. He goes for the safe 1 pin. So he'll put a 28 score up on the board after 2. On to the handicap side, Isaac Erickson also off to a slow start with 2 open frames. There he crosses over, leaving the 6-10 in the 3rd frame.
Again, Erickson's the one who advanced from the last match when he shot a 186 to defeat Kobe Kramer and Aaron Strickland. So he's been working hot here. He's the third seed in the handicap division. Again, facing Nathan Hartman, who was the 2 seed. Another unfortunate break there for Dylan Zimmerman as he leaves another split on lane 3. So back-to-back splits for Zimmerman. See if he can convert this one, as it'll go right into the gutter.
That's a tough one there for Zimmerman. Always want to try to get the count when you have those splits, especially in matches like this where every pin is real important. Both players off to a real slow start in our semifinal for the scratch. So back on the handicap side, we have 2nd seed Nathan Hartman looking to double up. Goes through the face, crossing over, leaving the 3-6-10.
Ethan Resch able to get on the board with the strike on that one after 2 early opens. Again, Resch back-to-back 204s to start. As Hartman gets a spare. Open strike spare for Hartman. as he gets ready to go up on the left side, but first it's Ethan Resch on lane 3, and he crosses over for the strike. Back-to-back strikes for Resch.
Interesting to point out in our handicap match here on 5 and 6, Nathan Hartman is the one getting the pins in this match. He entered today's tournament with a 127 average. He's receiving the difference of his handicap between him and Isaac. He's getting 45 pins. So we'll see how he does as he takes home a big strike there in the 4th frame.
So a big difference with the 45 pins, plus he's starting out pretty strongly with another strike there. As we go back to the scratch side, Dylan Zimmerman hits the pocket and gets him a strike, his 2nd of the game after going back-to-back split opens.
Erickson up on lane 6, looking for a strike, and he gets it, his first one of the game. So right now, he trails Nathan Hartman by 11 pins scratch, which is actually about 50-some pins overall. Zimmerman with another strike. I'm sorry, gets it, matches Resch on the scoreboard. Erickson leaving the 6, 9, 10. We'll see if he can convert that. We'll see if he can, looking for 3 in a row. Goes wide, or I'm sorry, not wide, but actually goes high, leaving the 3, 6 spare. We'll see if he can convert that in a moment. Back to Erickson, picks up the spare.
So very close one. Yet again, both the matches spare.
Yeah, it looks like Hart in the handicap match with when you add in early. We'll see if Hartman can pick up a double here. He's looking for 2 in a row. This is 5th frame. And he gets it. Great shot.
He's looking very well. And coming off the bye, haven't seen these lanes yet, and he's already with that. And then there goes Ethan Resch with another strike. He's been getting very good shots, and when he's not getting very good shots, he's been getting very good luck. So he's been...
Absolutely. That was, again, weak for him as he trips the 3-pin forward. I think he should be trying that tonight because a couple good breaks here in these matches. There on lane 5, just coming up a little short, leaving the 7-pin on a double. Leaving the bucket, the 2-4.
Again, bowling on the Athens pattern, correct? So
That's
not a very easy pattern as we have seen the whole time at these finals.
Yes, again, a 41-foot pattern for our viewers out there. This pattern is not your typical house pattern. It has a lot of volume of oil across the lane, and certainly you have to make quality shots to be able to hit the pocket and strike. Now for the conversion for Zimmerman, he does a good job of cleaning up that bucket, and the match pretty even on the scratch side through 6 frames. Meanwhile, on the handicap side, Erickson looking to make up ground, and he gets a strike. Right now, Erickson trailing by a total of 65 pins with the handicap. Looking to get a double in a moment, but back on the scratch side, Zimmerman looking to follow up the spare, back on the strike trail. Great shot right there.
Again, both of these scratch bowlers really coming on strong as Zimmerman has 4 strikes there. And even these handicap bowlers as Isaac Erickson's able to get a double there on lane 5, and Ethan Resch now up on lane 4. And he'll just go wide right and gets a 6th count.
Also known as the washout. We have the 1, 2, 4, 10 for our viewers out there. The way to convert this would be to get the ball to the left side of the head pin and push the head pin into the 10 pin. We'll see if Resch can convert in a moment. Meanwhile, Hartman up on lane 6. Crossing over and picks up the strike.
Seems as if everything's falling over there on lane 5 and 6 for both Heartland and Erickson.
Resch not able to convert there on lane 4, so an open frame. He can now max out at 201. His opponent Zimmerman can max out at 221, so a 20-pin lead for Zimmerman as they head into the 8th frame on the scratch side. But meanwhile, on the handicap side, Nathan Hartman working on a strike, looking to keep the pressure on Erickson. 8th frame. Crosses over going high, leaving the 610. Meanwhile, Resch takes down a strike on the left lane. An important shot for Resch as the team try to keep the board. Some help from Zimmerman. And he converts.
Again, Hartman has that 45-pin advantage over Erickson. Advantage.
Solid 10-pin there for Zimmerman, which will equal the matchup now. Both bowlers on a pace to shoot 201. Meanwhile, Erickson looking for 3 in a row, cannot get it. Leaves the 7-pin, makes another quality shot. Erickson really around the pocket, but that was a big shot for him. He can now max out at 207. And with the handicap that Nathan Hartman gets, doesn't look like at the moment it's going to be enough to hold up and win this match. But it still is not over. He converts a spare in the 8th frame.
So we're in the 8th frame here in both matches. And we have 2 very close ones as Dylan Zimmerman working off a spare. Up by 10, Ethan Rush down by 10, but he's working off of a strike. And here goes Zimmerman's shot, and he's able to find the pocket, gets a strike.
Big shot there, foundation frame for Dylan Zimmerman, keeping the match even. Resch needs to strike to match him here, so we'll see what happens in a moment. Meanwhile, Erickson goes wide, leaving the 1-2 spare there for the handicap side on lane 5. Now Resch looking to keep it even, and he trips the 4-9. A great shot there. And that gives him a double. So both teams can max out at a 201 score. So we'll see how this all plays out as Erickson picks up his spare. Unfortunately for Erickson, Resch, big strike there for the first shot in the 10th.
And that about just equals it up there. And he'll have the advantage now as he has the first one. Zimmerman, again, he has the strike in the 9th. Pretty much can be considered even if Zimmerman can match.
Yeah, pretty much at this point, Hartman is locked up, advancing into the title match. So we're gonna, but let's see what Resch goes wide, leaving the washout, the 1-2-4-10. And that means he will give Zimmerman an opening to potentially take this match.
I believe Zimmerman will still need the strike on the first ball to have a chance to defeat Resch, as he'll get 3 pins there. So officially 186 for Ethan Resch he'll finish with.
Important thing to point out though, Dylan, on our scratch pair here, Dylan Zimmerman must strike on the first ball. He did put enough pressure, Resch put enough pressure on Zimmerman that he must strike on this first ball to have a chance to win the match.
The handicap, Hartman comes up after the open in the 9th frame, and he's gonna go wide again here. So I have to see if there's any room. Doesn't look like there's still any room for Erickson to come back in that one, as the 45 pins handicap will put Hartman through to the next round. But here's a big shot by Dylan Zimmerman.
He goes high, leaving the 3-6, and Ethan Resch will advance all the way through the 2 shootouts and the semifinal. He will now be in the title match.
So Ethan Resch shot 204 the first 2 matches and a 186 here, and that's going to get the job done, just like you said. And over on the handicap side, Nathan Hartman finishes with 219 overall.
Well, you know, it's funny to point out today, Resch has basically won every match through the scratch side. And, you know, he's made a lot of quality shots, but he's also gotten some breaks. And we always like to say in bowling, you know, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. You know, he's making good shots, but he's also getting some key breaks at key points. And we'll see how it matches up now in the title match against Paul Bedoin.
So there you said Paul Bedoin, leader for the handicap side. Leader split here, not converted, so that'll be it for a 172 overall. And Isaac Erickson who won this one, and it's officially Nathan Hartman moving on to the finals match to face up again for his opponent in Dylan Zimmerman. 186 to 179, so 7-pin win there pushes him through to the finals to face against Paul Bedoin. Paul Bedoin 132 over after the match play round, and when you look at him after qualifying, he was plus 45, tied for second. So he made a big difference there, as we'll send it down to Matt Himmelreich with the award ceremony.
Okay, boys, parents, if I can have your attention, the results of our semifinals, finishing in 3rd in the scratch division, getting a $100 scholarship certificate and runner-up plaque, or sorry, 3rd place plaque rather, goes to Dylan. And our 3rd place finisher in the handicap division, also receiving a $100 scholarship certificate and 3rd place plaque, goes to Isaac Erickson.
live from one final time from ABC East Lanes in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for the 6th major of the season in the PJBT 2014-2015 season. And I'm Dylan Bauer alongside Matt Himmelreich. We are down to the final match of the finals. So the winner here is the champion, taking home $300. And Matt, you want to tell us how each of the bowlers got to this point in the tournament?
Sure, yes, we had a total of 79 bowlers today. We're down to our final 2 in each division, scratch and handicap. These bowlers basically advanced by bowling 5 games of qualifying, 3 games of head-to-head match play, and our top 7 advanced to the finals. And now we are down to the final 2. On the scratch side, our tournament leader, who just threw his first shot, Paul Bedoin, leaving the 310. He's our tournament leader, versus Ethan Resch, who has survived 2 shootouts and a semifinal match to get to this point. So it'll be interesting to see how this match plays out. On the handicap side, we have our top seed Chris McCormick and our 2nd seed Nathan Hartman taking on each other in the title match.
All right, so we have a very good one here as Paul Bedoin's able to get on the board first with a pickup of a split. And meanwhile, Hartman with the open. So Ethan Resch up first now, or second on lane 4. He has the 8 count to start. Chris McCormick, he makes his spare. So good start by the number 1 seed, Chris McCormick. Comes in plus 156.
Interesting in our handicap match that I want to mention there, Nathan Hartman receiving 40 pins handicap. That's the difference of the match for our title match here today. So 40 pins goes to Nathan. So McCormick needs to beat him scratch by more than 40 to take home the title. He's up here for his 2nd frame, makes a great shot, leaving a solid 9. Chris looking for back-to-back wins. Let me point that out. Chris basically won last week at our event in Hanover Bowling Center down in Hanover, PA, looking to be the first handicap bowler to win back-to-back titles this year. So we'll see how that plays out.
On that note, Matt, you can also, being the tournament director here of the PJBTs, you want to give a little bit of an overview of the schedule upcoming for the listeners at home so they can plan accordingly?
Sure, absolutely. We have 2 major events coming up in the next 2 weeks. Next Sunday, we're going to be at Trindle Bowl in Mechanicsburg, PA. That's actually a 21 and under doubles event. So our doubles events, we usually get lots of entries. Our new website was premiered this week, and bowlers can go online to sign up for next week's tournament. They can do it online, or they can submit it here at the center if they're here today watching. So basically, they can do it online, or they can submit it here at the center if they're here today watching. So basically, every day, 2 weeks from today, basically, we're going to see, we go to 222 Dutch lanes, and at 220 major event, our 7th major of the season. And that is a 6-game qualifier, and we pay out bonus scholarship money just like we did here today for our 6th major. So 2 major events coming up in the next 2 weeks. We hope to see all the 21 and under bowlers out there.
And they'll have the chance to be in this finals match just like we have here in front of us with the winners today, taking home $300 and the first place glass pin trophy. Paul Bedoin on lane 3, struck his last time, and there's a double for the number 1 seed, Paul Bedoin.
Back on the right pair, 5 and 6 is our handicap final. Nathan Hartman, not a great first shot, only getting a 3 count. Tries to cover up the spare, and he is not able to, leaves 1 stand. So back-to-back opens to start his title match against our tournament leader, Chris McCormick. Now, back on the scratch pair, Resch gets his first strike of the match as he started with an open and a spare. And with Bedoin off to a quick start, that was an important strike there for Resch.
Again, Resch shooting 204 his first 2 matches and a 186 last match. So he needs to look to make a difference here in this one if he wants to stand a chance against Paul Bedoin. Nathan Hartman on lane 5. Not a very good shot by him, as it'll go straight into gutter. And back on lane 3, Resh goes a little wide of the pocket.
It's interesting to watch Resh bowl. He's had a couple of breaks, and he's also had some great shots today. But it looks like he's off to a slow start here, and tournament leader Paul Bedoin very lined up, so Resh is going to have to make an adjustment quickly. Meanwhile, let's see if Hartman can convert, and he does convert the spare. Very interesting. Not the everyday gutter ball spare, but we got that. He got his first mark of the match on the board there. Resh not able to convert, only with 57 now in the 4th frame. Paul Bedoin can put some real pressure on him. But back to the handicap side. McCormick looking to extend his lead. 3rd frame. He goes wide, leaving the 1, well, it was going to be the 1-2-8, but the 2 falls late, now leaving a tough 1-8 combination for him. Meanwhile, Bedoin playing the inner part of the lane, comes up a little high, leaving the 4-pin. Again, let me point out, Dylan, the winners of these matches will take home the top prize of $300 in scholarship in each division, and the glass bowling pin. Our runner-ups will take home $150 in scholarship each, and a plaque. So a lot riding on the line with these title matches.
All part of that $1,400 overall prize fund that you guys gave out today in scholarships.
Absolutely. We want to thank all of our sponsors and Heartland Bowling Tournaments for putting on this production today. It's a great job that you guys did with this, and we hope to maybe have you at some other tournaments during the year. We'll see if we can arrange that. That would be great.
So again, we're back here in the finals match at ABC East Lanes. I'm Dylan Bauer alongside Matt Himmelreich, also the tournament director of today's event. So it's Paul Bedoin versus Ethan Resh in the scratch division, and in the handicap division, it's Chris McCormick and Nathan Hartman, who are the 1 and 2 seeds in the handicap division.
Hartman up on lane 6, looks to mix it, and he gets a strike. So he follows up his gutter ball spare with a strike. Resh crossing over and striking. Another big break there for Ethan.
Something he's been doing the whole time throughout the day. He's been getting very good shots, and then, like we say, when he doesn't, he's been getting very lucky falls, and it's been working for him as he's now here in the tournament title match. Nathan Hartman on lane 5.
Hartman with another strike. Wow, great job there getting a double, keeping pressure on McCormick. Meanwhile, another snowplow type strike for Ethan Resh. Resh just seems to have 9 lives today, as that was not a great shot, but through the face, getting all of them to fall. An important double there to keep the pressure on Bedoin, as Bedoin still leads by 12. Now, back over on the right side, McCormick goes wide, leaving the 1-2-10 combination.
Remember, Hartman on that side getting the 40-pin advantage, and a big 7-10 split there in the 6th frame for Paul Bedoin.
Duff break there for Bedoin. That was a great shot. It was in the pocket, just no carry. You'll have to try to pick up 1 and move forward as Resh is on a double. He does get the 1, so that'll put a 117 score up for him in the 6th frame. And that will pretty much even out the match, as Resh is just 1 strike away from evening it up. Now, McCormick looking to keep the pressure on his opponent, makes a good shot, goes a little high, 4-pin.
And a crossover there from Paul Bedoin. He knew he didn't like it, and he's going to be surprised by the result there when he turned around to see that he came out with the strike there in the 7th frame.
Well, you know, it's funny, Ethan got a break on that lane by getting the snowplow strike a couple minutes ago. So, you know, they always say in bowling, breaks even out. So a big break there for Bedoin. Now Resch for 3 in a row, and he gets it. So the match is even through 7 frames now on the scratch side as we have a battle. Back on the handicap side, Nathan Hartman working a double, looking for 3 in a row, 6th frame. Both of our bowlers on the last shot there going wide, leaving some form of the baby split. Hartman with the 1-2-10, Resch with the 1-2-4-10. Let's see if they can convert. Hartman is not able to get any pins. Meanwhile, Resch picks up 3, but puts an open frame up on the board. So now Resch can only max out at 201, while his opponent, Paul Bedoin, can max out at 237. So a 30-some pin lead for Bedoin.
Back on the handicap side, Nathan Hartman up on lane 5. He's working off an open last frame. And again, same thing, he just left on the right side and missed all the pins when he tried to pick up the spare, so we'll see if he can do something different this time. And back to Paul Bedoin, who gets it to go through the pocket, gets a strike. 2 in a row now for Bedoin as he heads into the 9th frame.
Back-to-back 7 misses there for Hartman as he left the 1-2-10, was not able to get any pins on either shot. So he's keeping the door open for Chris McCormick. McCormick has been making some good shots. Meanwhile, Bedoin looking to put the dagger in the victory. Goes high, leaving the 3-6-10, an important conversion here to keep the pressure on Resch.
McCormick was on the spare with the 6th count there. Now back to Bedoin. Able to convert this 3-pin spare.
McCormick chops a spare. That's a tough one for him. That tough bucket conversion. So he can now max out at 198. Oh, another crossover by Resch, and he strikes. I don't know about you, but this guy has more than 9 lives as far as I'm concerned.
They keep him in the match, and they keep winning him the matches. And we'll see if that'll continue here. He's going to need more of those here in the 10th frame, though, to stay alive here against Paul Bedoin.
Real important shot here in the first shot of the 10th frame. He goes high, trips out the 6, but leaves the 10-pin. And that is going to mean that he can max out at about a 181. So Paul Bedoin pretty much has to keep the ball in the lane, and he's going to be our scratch champion for this major. Meanwhile, on the handicap side, McCormick picking up a spare in the 8th. He can max out at 188. Oh, and Resch misses the spare, which pretty much locks up the match. Paul Bedoin is your champion in the scratch division, sitting on the bench.
Yeah, Resch there finishes 169. Rough end there for him as he couldn't make the 10-pin and at least give him a shot, a chance against Bedoin. But he had a great run there today. Winning 3 of 4 matches is still a great accomplishment. Able to come back and finish in 2nd place after defeating both Brett Zirkle, DJ Brown in the first match, and then Ryan Carlisi and Brianna Lyon. And now and then Dylan Zimmerman in the last one, and finally losing here to Paul Bedoin, who takes home the crown for the scratch division.
We still have a match, though, in handicap. Hartman on a strike, looking to double up. He gets a monumental break by breaking up the 4, 6, and 7. He could have had a big split, leaving the 10 pin. Bedoin finishing up his game. He'll be in the 200s with a title win. And there's a spare. For Nathan Hartman. So Nathan Hartman is on pace to shoot 166 with his bonus of 40. He could shoot 2-0. Meanwhile, McCormick is on pace to shoot 180. So we'll see how this all plays out. McCormick once again goes wide, only getting a 5 count. That does not help.
And Cormac's gonna really have to make a difference here in the 10th frame. But first, he's gonna have to pick this up. And again, like you said, Hartman with the 40 pin advantage. So if McCormick wants to stay in, he's gonna have to make this and then get it done in the 10th frame. As McCormick shots here, he'll make the spare. So the first part is done. He'll head into the 10th frame with a spare. Hartman also working into the 10th frame with a spare. And in order for McCormick to win this one, he's gonna need some luck out of Hartman.
McCormick with a 4 and a trip of the 9. So a strike there to start the 10th frame. He's gonna try to keep the pressure on Hartman.
Again, Paul Bedoin, the champion in the scratch division as they just finished. Final score 200 to 169 as McCormick's second shot in the 10th here. He'll get another strike. So he's keeping the pressure on Nathan Hartman to perform in the 10th frame.
Very important to get as many pins as he can here on this fill shot, because if he finishes with 173, right now Nathan Hartman with 166 on the board, that would force Nathan to get 8 pins on the final shot.
And he'll get 8 there, so he'll finish 171. And again, Nathan Hartman pretty much just has to keep the ball on the lane, but he didn't throw a gutter ball in the 3rd frame, but then backed it up with a spare. So in order for McCormick to win, he'll need to do a little less than that. But here's Nathan Hartman, lane 6. Needs 6 pins for the victory.
And that will do it.
7 will be enough. So there you have it. Nathan Hartman, the 2 seed, coming in and knocking out the number 1 seed, Chris McCormick, as he is now the new champion. Chris McCormick's won last week but won't win this week. Nathan Hartman is the winner for the handicap division.
In just a moment, as soon as Nathan throws his last ball here, we will have the trophy presentation on the lanes. I will present the winners and the finalists with their trophies and plaques, and then we're going to have an interview to finish off the day with our winners. So please stay tuned here on YouTube at Heartland Bowling Tournaments, as we will have a short interview with our winners coming up in just a moment. Hartman finishes up with a 152 scratch, shooting 192, defeating Chris McCormick with a 171.
So there you have it again, your champions for today. Paul Bedoin, who defeated Ethan Rush by a final score of 200 to 169. And then for the handicap division, it's Nathan Hartman who defeats Chris McCormick by a final score of 192 to 171. So congratulations to both Hartman and Bedoin as they are victorious here today. And my partner and tournament director of today's PJBT event and the sixth major of the season in the PJBT season, Matt Himmelreich, will have the presentation down now.
Okay, owners and parents, our final results for today's sixth major of the season. Finishing runner-up in the scratch division, getting a $150 scholarship. Supporting it in runner-up plaque, making the best run of the day to the title match, Ethan Rush. Okay, we're back here at ABC East Lanes with our champions for today, Paul Bedoin and Nathan Hartman. Congratulations to both of you. Nice bowling. Start with you, Paul, on the scratch side. I saw you made a run there in match play, and coming into your run there in match about on the broadcast, one of the hottest bowlers, winning those first 3 matches. Sometimes it's an advantage to be bowling the whole time rather than coming in as the tournament leader, but it looked like you got lined up on that last pair. Talk about your bowling there in the last match.
Well, it helped that the practice lane and the pair we were bowling on were close. Like you said, bowling someone against Ethan who had 3 games on the pair. It's just nice to come out with the win.
Absolutely. Well, it seemed like you got off to a quick start there, and it seemed like you were playing the inside part of the lane. Is that where you played most of the day as far as this pattern, or did you play at different areas of the lane?
No, I played there for most of the day. I tried moving around. That was my best look playing inside.
Right. Well, it looked like you had a great look there on the title pair, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Nathan, first title, I believe, in PJBT, right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
I understand you're from Pine Grove, not far from my home. So tell me a little bit about you started not towards the top of the leaderboard today, but as we went through match play, you worked your way up to the 2nd seed position, which made it so that you only had to bowl 2 games, taking down the semifinal match, and then our winner from last week, Chris McCormick. Tell us a little bit about bowling on the lanes today. I mean, how did you feel on the title pair there? Did you have a good look?
Well, a lot of the lanes, they were really difficult, but then at some points I could just get going on strikes. And on the title pair, I felt comfortable in those lanes because just the game before I was bowling really good on them.
Awesome. Okay. So tell us a little bit about playing this pattern. I know for handicap bowlers, I know this pattern is a lot tougher, and especially when we bowl on the tougher patterns. Is it a good learning experience for you as far as becoming a better bowler?
Yeah, it's a lot different than house shot because a lot of times in house shot, if it's going through the middle, it won't break a lot. But on here, I had some, they were going down the middle, and they'd almost go off the lane to the left. So
right.
It's definitely very different.
Very different. Okay. Well, congratulations on your title. And I believe for Paul, it was your first title?
Yes.
First title also. So we have 2 first-time winners this week at the major event number 6. Again, we want to congratulate Paul and Nathan, and we want to thank Heartland Bowling Tournaments for putting this on. We really appreciate you guys doing our live broadcast today. We hope you all enjoyed it out there, and hopefully we'll do it again soon sometime. So we hope to see everybody next Sunday. The PJBT moves on to Trindle Bowl for our doubles event next Sunday. Make sure you sign up in advance. We'll get a lot of entries. You can now do it on the new website, pjbtbowlingseries.com. So thanks again, and have a great night, everybody.